All right. What's up, Blueprint family? How y'all doing out there? Thank you all for joining us on this wonderful Tuesday night. So, we have another great topic for you all again. And that topic is, can you be happy with someone who's not your type? Quote unquote. Can you be happy? I think so. Um, you see a lot of odd couples out in public sometimes, maybe, I guess. And I've seen tall women with short guys. I've seen old and young or what have you. Are those people type? We don't know. But I assume that maybe not. And then they've dated and learned each other's personality types and learned to coexist and team build. So, with that being said, let's get into our topic, shall we?
Yeah, this was actually inspired by. This was usually we don't do Reddit questions, but being that they come across our email, sometimes when it happens, especially if I see it too often, I'm going to be like, all right, let's address it. Because to me, usually when things keep presenting itself to you, it's something that is worthy of, your exploration. So, in this sense, we have heard this too many times, and primarily within like the past couple weeks, I've been hearing a lot of this. So, I think being that we haven't covered something like this would be a good one to just dig on in to, like you were saying, how do you make it work? Because yeah, it can work because everything is choice and free will. So if you want to do something, you're going to do it. So how do you do it, right? And actually, what could be some things to look out for of whether or not you can do it, right? Because sometimes you can't. So
Mm-hmm.
let's dig on into this question. It's a little. Go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah. So, as
I'm gonna go ahead.
always, Blueprint family, thank you all, Instagram viewers and YouTube viewers. This is a live show. So, at any moment in time, if you feel like adding a comment or question or joining us live, please do so. This is that space and that place for
And
that
what does it look
opportunity.
like?
So, in case that you have
Yeah,
something on your hearts or minds that you want to talk
like
about, please let us know. You can let us know anonymously as well at www.wifeconomics.com/submit a question.
Yeah, but let's dig onto this. And another reason why, not only did I just because we've seen this so many times, but not that many people actually have addressed it, which is another reason why I'm like, okay, let's go through this. So, I have lost attraction to my partner. This is we ain't big on Reddit, so I'm assuming this is 28 female
Yeah,
and
28
28
male.
male. Right. Okay. So, my boyfriend and I have been dating for about 3 years now. I'd say that we were good for each other and we are compatible in our lifestyles, temperaments, and intellectually. We live together and are very committed at this point and have discussed marriage in the future. I'm conflicted because if I'm being honest with myself, I cannot see myself marrying or having children with this man, even though I can see that he would be a good husband and father and that this would be a good, fulfilling life for both of us. I can't pinpoint exactly why I feel this way, but a majority of it, I think, stems from the fact that I'm not attracted to him. In the beginning, when we first started dating, I realized that I completely disregarded physical attraction and looks in favor of only focusing on his other positive attributes like his kindness, integrity, intelligence, and etc. And when the initial excitement of the relationship died down, the intimacy and sex life has completely died with it as well. Him and I have discussed some of this, and we both agreed that sex and intimacy and attraction is not the most important thing in the grand scheme of getting married, raising children, and presumably spending 50 plus years together. What has kept us together is our shared morals, values, and how important that is to both of us in having a marriage and family. However, he did admit that he wasn't completely happy with the relationship as well, seeing as the loss of attraction was only on my part and not his. We've tried several things to improve intimacy, but with little success. The dynamic of him being the one initiating sex and intimacy while I'm really not into it. Relationship counseling was brought up, but we haven't followed through with it. So now it's been several months of us just kind of doing okay, living together, but with no real solution or goal in sight. I do love and care deeply for him, and he feels the same way for me, but I'm afraid that we can't be happy together and that we're only prolonging the inevitable. Has anyone ever been in a similar situation, and how did you proceed with improving things? Yeah, this was a loaded question. Another reason why sometimes if we don't answer a question like this before and then it keeps like I keep seeing it over and over in different ways, usually when we do decide to answer a question like this, it's good. Like, and this, I think this Reddit post in particular, for it popping up, we actually had a whole nother topic scheduled, but just to see this pop up was like loaded stuff of that we could just get into. So I really feel it's worthy to dissect, and that's what we're gonna do tonight. Get all into this type and stuff. So let's start with here first. What do you think?
To be honest with you, it's the ending for me.
Yeah.
And she says, where is it at? I do love and care deeply for him, and he feels the same way for me, but I'm afraid that we can't be happy together. No, what it is that you're not happy. He's happy. He's trying to be happy with you. If you would just have sex with him. Are they married?
No.
No, and they're not married. Okay.
Been together 3 years now.
All right. Scroll down some more. And then she continues to say, and that we're only prolonging the inevitable. She's already made her mind up.
Well, hopefully not. But yeah, I see what you're saying. In her mind. Yeah.
In her mind, she's already made her mind up. You see, people, you have to understand this. You can't be in a one-sided relationship. You can't be in a relationship with somebody and they have what do you call it, predetermined this relationship already and how things are going to go.
Or better yet, negative biases. The idea that once you start thinking on negative things, that you will keep focusing on the negative aspects of the relationship versus focusing on the positive one. That's like a negative bias within your mind.
Well, I mean, that's also your personality too. I mean, she's shallow on the point of looks. And the thing is that, to be honest with you, you can't have it all. No one has it all. And
I got pretty lucky, but I'm just
and what it is that I'm pretty sure that this guy is a great provider, and that's what she's looking for. And she probably doesn't have all the looks either. I wonder what she looks like as well. So to be equal, be honest about the situation. What do you look like in this situation? And then also too, if he's checking out most of these boxes, he's a provider, a protector, or what have you. You've been together you've entertained this man for 3 years. And I guess you tried to make it work, but you still didn't go to counseling yet. But she's already made her mind up.
Well, that's because that honeymoon phase. Yeah.
It's
done. Like, with the 3 years, when you make up your mind, usually in that time, that 3 years, you got the honeymoon phase, right? Usually 2 years max scientifically. These are actual scientific things. Like within the honeymoon phase, that intense passion, that excitement, that new relationship that's like you're just fantasizing, you're infatuated, you're attached with this person. You're overlooking physical traits. You're overlooking flaws, things that you wouldn't normally pay attention to.
Right.
Now they're into the thick of things, how things really go. And that's where the real problem is, I think, starts to come in, is because one, that's not sustainable. You can't honestly think that you're going to sustain a relationship on just, that honeymoon infatuation phase. Reality is going to set in. And that's the part I think she's really struggling with here, is because she didn't, in a way, learn to adjust your mind and look at your spouse in a new light, because she's come to love who he is. Everything else is compatible. Everything seems to be going right. But she says, I cannot pinpoint exactly why I feel this way. And I think the majority stems from the fact that I'm not attracted to him. Just saying that she disregarded the physical right there in her note in general. She disregarded the physical from the beginning. So that usually is based off a honeymoon infatuation, the chemicals within your brain, chemistry, science, just naturally how your brain
I don't know,
is thinking.
But she intelligently said that she favored only focusing on the other aspects. She knew she wasn't attracted to this guy from the beginning.
Right.
That the honeymoon stuff had nothing to do with it, I believe, because she's focused on the positive attributes like his kindness, integrity,
Right.
intelligence. And that is all that you were supposed to do. To be honest with you, if you were intentional about being married to this man who you don't seem to be attracted to, I'm sorry. But the thing is this, she didn't choose to be with someone else within those 3 years. She didn't. So she had the opportunity to leave a long time ago. But I believe what's going on was the fact that this man is a provider. She enjoyed his money. And she's not
Well, his
trying to
kindness, too.
she's not trying to take accountability for ending this relationship. She's trying to be hypergamous. But here's the thing. She's 28 years old, so she's quickly approaching the age to where childbearing becomes a risk as far as her age is concerned. And that's roughly around what? That 33 year mark. So she's about what, 5 years? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, about 5 years off from that. Now,
From said again, the
having issues with pregnancy.
yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Possibility, the possibility of not surviving pregnancy increases as women get older.
Yeah, I can't think of the
And the thing is this: what is her probability of finding somebody that checks all of the boxes?
Right.
What are the probability of that? And she really needs to understand that the next person that comes into her life could be worse off with good looks than the guy that she currently have. I don't understand why women would throw away the baby with the bathwater.
Yeah.
Why throw away this relationship and it's working and it's okay because you're not fully attracted to this man?
If I may say, I think because they're stagnant. You're talking 3 years within a relationship and it's stagnant. It's gotten stagnant to the point where they've lost that novelty, that excitement. Now I can't just put it all on her. It takes two to have.
But she said he initiates.
Yeah, it does. And it does. But what I mean by stagnicity is aside from the intimacy part, which is huge. We're not going to lack on that. And in particular, the lack of communication and intimacy is certainly going to lead to her focusing more on the negative aspects. But just the idea that this relationship has been going on for 3 years and there is no progression that's going to keep her mind focused on the positive progression of the relationship. Because what it seems like is after the initial all this lovey-dovey, you like him, you fell in love with his kindness. She said she loves his kindness and all these other great qualities. She focused on all of that. Then it didn't progress. It hasn't moved any further. Like, y'all are 3 years. Are you about to get married? What goals are you working on? Financial goals in particular, that is really big when it comes to a relationship, to keep your mind, especially if you're missing the physical intimacy part. And that can apply for both men and women. If your mind is not focused on anything that's going to progress your relationship, the things, your goals, your accomplishments that you guys are working towards together, that naturally is going to build intimacy, is naturally going to build your connection with each other. That will help to compensate for the lack of, physical attraction, I guess.
You're giving this woman a benefit, the great benefit of the doubt. The issue is her personality.
You think so?
Yes. And her intention, in which it is not there. Her intentions are not with the fact of wanting to be with this man. And the reason being, and I'm telling you this, the reason why is because she wrote this letter. And it all comes down to physical attraction. He's nice, he's kind, he's nice, he's nice. He does everything else for me and all this other stuff. I won't sleep with him. He tries to initiate sex. I don't want to have sex with him. The problem is her.
Yeah.
That's what the problem is with this. You can say that, goals, reaching goals and things. I think that this guy, I don't know. Matter of fact, I don't know. I don't want to speak on that. I'm just going to speak on the hardcore facts here. This lady wrote in, she doesn't like her boyfriend because he's ugly to her. That's the bottom line. He checks out all the other boxes. But like I said, the probability of her finding somebody that checks those boxes and is very attractive are probably slim, because you know why? She chose this relationship to be with this guy who she's not attracted to. Who else was trying to date this woman? In 3 years, I'm pretty sure if she was that darn attractive, then somebody else would have swept her off her feet then, because that was something easy for her, was attractiveness.
Right.
Nobody's looking for this woman. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Her best bet is to
Yeah.
stay with this man, build this
Oh,
relationship,
certainly. Yeah.
and then make it grow.
Yeah,
Do her
certainly.
part. It just is what it is, people. I'm sorry. Often at times that, you think that you can do better, participate in hypergamy, but ultimately what happens is that you can't. You may have lost that opportunity, or whatever the case may be. And then she's approaching the age, like I said, where she's at high risk for a dangerous pregnancy. So she's approaching that as well, the age of 33. So she has to really consider about wanting to have children. She does want to have children. She said this man will be a great husband, but she doesn't want to give this man children because she's not attracted to him.
She visually can't see it.
She has a poor judgment.
Yeah.
She has a lack of judgment. She has a lack of morals, and she used this man. That is the bottom line. She used this man. So therefore, they need to go to counseling, and this man need to give this woman an ultimatum on whether or not she wants to be in his life. A simple yes and no, and then figure out next she needs to make sure needs to make sure she signs the prenuptial agreement if they're going to move forward to get married, because this is the type of woman that would take your money after you get married and say, it just ain't work out. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And then that's the end goal. That's the end game for her, because then now she got money of some sorts and took 2/3 of his money because of the divorce if he don't sign a prenuptial agreement. This type of character trait and this type of female is one that you cannot trust. You cannot trust the type of woman that will date you for 3 years, and then all of a sudden after the 3rd year, I'm not attracted to you. I no longer want to have sex with you, but I want to enjoy all the other benefits that you've been providing me with, because you're kind. Give me your money. Take me out on trips and dates and gifts and all this stuff. I'm pretty sure he's doing that. And this guy seems probably well off, because she would not entertain an ugly guy for 3 years. I'm sorry.
Right. Unless, like you were saying, that's who she can just get. And so she maybe recognizes that too. I don't know. Like you said, I'm certainly the one of both of us that likes to give the benefit of the doubt to either party. I'm usually not biased, but when looking, that's kind of what made me want to really talk about this, is because it is common. I see this a lot, where even women who, you may think that you are just super, super beautiful and you want a man that's super handsome. But truth be told, from what I knew growing up and what I've often heard, is that the woman's supposed to be the beautiful one. You're supposed to be the one that's looking into, making your couple look nice. Like, you're a couple, so you're the one that's supposed to stand out, and everybody's like, oh yeah, that's why you always see the older guys with the younger attractive women, or whatever the case may be. But that's just usually how it is. So I think when it comes to type, and especially within our now modern world that we live in, it can really skew your whole dating persona, and then even within your relationship, like you see here, to where it can actually end up you doing some self-sabotaging behaviors within the relationship that could actually be really, really good for you and really healthy. But, because you have this type, you're not actually able to make the best decision for yourself, because you're kind of looking at it through a skewed lens of, personal preferences or past experiences, or, whatever kind of biases that you may have. But that really just kind of leads us into the topic. But is there anything else specifically? Because our whole topic will pretty much cover some things that she could do to hopefully save this relationship, because this would be so unfortunate for her to miss out, because like you said, you don't know if you're going to get another chance. And so if this could be a moment of waking up and realizing, like, damn, I'm not about to
she's
mess up here.
If I could interject, this is why it won't fare well with her next relationship. The future guy is going to wonder, hey, why did your previous relationship fail?
Mm-hmm.
And then she's going to tell him, well, I was with him for 3 years, but I wasn't attracted to him.
Yeah.
And then the guy's going to realize, like, so what happened? I didn't want to have sex with him. I didn't want to do all this stuff, and I wasn't attracted to him. So he's going to think that this possibly could happen to me, no matter how good looking I look or how much money I have. this woman could often, just want to leave, get out of the relationship because she's going to find something that she's not happy with.
Right.
That is, take note of that.
Yeah.
Women out there who are thinking that they can get better than what they currently have, more than likely, to be honest with you, you can't, because you're dating your equal. You're dating your equal, and very few women actually date up in society. And that's unless they're exceptionally beautiful, gorgeous, or have a lot of money themselves. These are the top 10% of people who can do these things. 90% of the population are just average, to be honest with you. So hopping around and skipping through people and thinking that you have a choice at the late age of 28. I know that's not too old, but it is in childbearing years. She's approaching later, issues with complications of pregnancy. She has to be very intentional about what she's doing. And like you said, have goals about what her next steps are. Because if not, then she's really going to doom herself trying to get into another relationship, because she's going to have to tell that person why her previous relationship failed.
And like you said, that's an important thing for anybody, male or female, to take note of. If their previous relationship, they actually chose something materialistic, like physical appearance, over morals and values, because that like you're saying, that's a very dangerous thing to do, because you're now willing to chance all the great morals, the shared morals, the values, and how important marriage and family is, and right here you're questioning that all over how somebody looks.
Right.
That is dangerous, because if somebody comes around that looks better, you would be tempted to go and do something else, and that's not right. Yeah,
but that's the thing, that better looking man is not looking for you, because he would have found you already in 3 years, but it didn't work out. She's not that good looking to think that she can go out and find somebody who's exceptionally handsome and probably provide as much as he do. I'm telling you, I can tell by this letter that her goals are just not realistic. Expectations are not realistic. And then I think on average, as far as looks are concerned, like I said, you find your equal. That's all I'm saying. So if she's saying that, this guy ain't the best looking, or whatever the case may be, she may be looking, may be okay looking on the outside, but it's really her insides that don't look too well, as far as her morals and her values and all of that. So,
or you just hit a map where here you need some direction, and that's what we're here for, to help give you this direction so you don't mess up with something. It could be a really beautiful, beautiful relationship. Because you want to dig on into this topic of type and how this really, because this is true, this male or female, this can apply either way. So it's really important to pay attention to your biases around, type, and how it can actually impact your relationship, and what you could do about it to make sure that you don't self-sabotage and ruin something.
Yeah. So first of all, your types need to be realistic. And you need to have realistic expectations about what your type is. So your type is a term used to describe your physical or personal characteristics that are attracted to in a romantic manner, that you're attracted to in a romantic manner. So it can be based on your personal preferences or past experiences and or values. So for example, you may have a type for tall, dark, and handsome. Or you might be attracted to a woman who is funny or intellectual or just extremely beautiful. You might be drawn to people who share your religious beliefs or political views as you, or you may be more likely to date someone who is similar background or upbringing as you, or you may want somebody who's extremely rich, so you can just be a person of luxury or what have you. Type. Everyone has a type. Everyone has their own biases and prejudices. So your type can affect your dating choices in a number of ways. You may be more likely to notice and be attracted to people who fit your type. You may also be more likely to give them a chance, even if they don't meet all of your criteria for a partner. So they may not even be good for you.
Right. That tall, dark, and handsome man may not have anything else that you would want, or the beautiful woman, just because she's beautiful, you're willing to overlook, dang, she got a bad attitude, but maybe I keep around just for a little longer. It's a dangerous game. That even in particular, like your type that can affect your relationship, right? So getting on to here with this woman, if you are in a relationship with someone who may not be your type, or initially you start dating someone who may not be your type, it can be hard to actually build intimacy with your spouse and connect with them on a deeper level. And that is why, it's important to address this very early on. We'll get into how you can be sure to do this, but if you don't address it, it will certainly cause some problems.
Yeah, you may create a self-fulfilling prophecy. So if you believe that you can't be happy with someone who is not your physical type, you may subconsciously sabotage this relationship. So this could be an argument, misunderstanding, and ultimately a breakup. Here's the thing:
Yeah.
don't date somebody who's not of your type. Don't do it, because what happened is that this type of stuff will happen. You're going to date this person and be like, you know what, it's not going to work out. I'm
I think
sorry,
you
I've wasted
could.
your
I would
time.
say you could. It
No,
depends. It
no, don't
depends.
even
Yeah.
initiate it.
Yeah.
Don't even initiate it. Because here's the thing: guys do this too when they want the convenience of sex. So they'll date an average looking female or somebody
Yeah.
who maybe just they know that they're lonely, and they just look like the type of female that just probably read books all day or something. And then they entertain this female, and then all of a sudden break their hearts and be like, you know what, I'm in a relationship with somebody else. That's the wrong thing to do. Karmatically, that experience is going to come back on you. And
Yeah.
you shouldn't do things like that, such as this is what she did. That's the reason why she really didn't have any intentions on really being with this guy. I'm telling you that, because
Yeah.
she wouldn't be writing in and saying this stuff. She would be saying, I love this guy, I'm committed to this guy, we're gonna make it work. As opposed to, I can't do this anymore. I tried to do this, he's just ugly. I just can't have kids with this man and nothing, won't even have sex or whatnot.
But
So
3 years in, I think
this
if
guy
you're
has
willing to
money.
stick it along for you think so? Yeah,
Yes.
if
She's a
you're
gold
willing to
digger.
stick it along for 3 years, that's such a long time.
No,
That's such a
no,
long
it ain't. 3
time.
years ain't a long time.
That is a long
Think of a
time.
3-year-old child.
That's a long time. Time is valuable. 3 years is a long time.
Right.
If
That's
you
what I'm saying. She wasted 3. She don't date somebody that you don't have this type of type with or attractiveness to. Stop doing that. Because here's the thing, and then be honest with you what your type is. If you're not an exceptionally good looking person, don't go try to chase people who are exceptionally good looking, because more than likely they're not looking for you. That's the law of the nature.
Yeah.
That's just is what it is. And that's what happens, is that she gets into a relationship and then all of a sudden want to back out of it. People do that.
Yeah.
People try to do that, but it don't end well. It doesn't end well. It
Yeah,
don't.
that's true. And then makes me think of kind of the next point, that if you are in a relationship with someone who may not be your type, you could possibly hurt their feelings. Of
Right.
course,
That's
I'm
what
the
I'm
woman,
saying.
so I'm more feeling based. I think about that, the empathy in me. You could really start making some negative comments. You could, be talking about their appearance. You could really say some things that could hurt their feelings. And ultimately, that would end up damaging the relationship anyway, because you can make them feel insecure, or just overall affect your whole communication, your intimacy. It's just going to make it difficult to move forward. So I understand what you're saying. I get
Right.
that point.
And then look at sugar babies, girls who date old men for their money.
Yeah.
You think they really want to do that?
There's some sugar what they call them, sugar mamas too.
Yeah, but they don't really. That's their type. Their attractive type, their physical type. No,
yeah.
an old
Realistically,
person.
no. Yeah, usually no.
No,
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
not. There's an lying reason why they're with these people, and it's not their physical type.
But like you said, you can't have it all. So to me, and if we're being frank, in order to open up the chances for you to actually have a good, fulfilling relationship, especially if, like this young lady was checking out all the boxes of, hey, this person is really someone that I can see myself living a fulfilling life. If you don't give them that opportunity and actually learn to see them in a different light, or look to train your mind to focus more so on the positive building aspects of your life and what you're going through, I really think you could have the chance of making a relationship work with someone who you may not initially be attracted to. It's certainly harder, but I would challenge people to really take that in consideration, especially if you're living in maybe a fantasy world where you believe you're the baddest thing walking, and hey, you may need to scale it down a bit and date outside someone who you may not usually date, just so you can come back down to earth and reality and see what it could really be like to actually have a genuine, relationship with someone outside of the physical, because that's so shallow. It's really shallow for anybody to just date just because these is the only people I like.
No, I mean, I don't think so. Everyone has a preference and free
Yeah,
will.
I see
The
that.
thing is that you be intentional on the reason why you're dating. It needs to be, I want to get married one day. Who dates just to date for a long time? People who don't have the intention on getting married. So why are you dating? Convenience of sex, money, all the other material things. What does that say about you? You're very materialistic.
Yeah.
That's what that says
Yeah.
about you. So you date in order to get married. The reason for dating is marriage, the institution of marriage.
Yeah, for a
So
solid family and build communities. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
So
I
she
get that.
copped out. She just tried to find a reason on why not to date this guy. And she's saying he's ugly. I'm not attracted to him, but he checks all the other boxes.
And that's where I think the double standard comes in at, to be honest, because men, on average, men aren't the ones that are the good looking ones in the relationship. They just aren't. That's not how a man is supposed to be rough and tough. He's supposed to be dirty. He's supposed to be not dirty like that. Now, I don't mean like that, but he's supposed to be,
He doesn't look as well as the woman.
Yes, not as well
basically.
groomed. Now,
on average, men don't look
right,
as,
or at least a real masculine man, because I may be stepping on some toes here for those who do maybe cross that, what's that, metrosexual type of realm where you do care a lot more about your looks and stuff like that. That's a different wrong topic. But just saying, in general, men aren't really the ones to focus on that physical. So women may have to put that aside for a bit to really find a good man, a good spouse, a good partner who you're building relationship with. If you're actually trying to do that,
right. I think on average, there's probably more good-looking women in society than it is good-looking men.
And that's why I said the double standard would come in, because I agree. You should, especially as a man, if you're going to settle down and actually have just one woman that you're going to focus on for the rest of your life, it is within your best intentions to get a woman who you would love to wake up to. 100%. I agree with that. But at the aspect of the woman and being realistic from the standpoint of women, if I want to get married, if I'm thinking as a single woman, if I want to get married, I gotta, be open to this good man who checks all these main boxes that I need in a husband, and not just the physical. Because usually them physical ones ain't thinking about settling down. The ones that look really good, they're not thinking, especially if he's a good looking 28-year-old. He probably would not be in the same relationship with her trying to settle down right then in that moment in time. He may be still trying to, play the field. Exactly, because of that,
Right.
So you just really got to weigh the pros and the cons of whether or not, for your specific situation, is this worth, you actually digging into, because you could really regret the decision later if you actually, go ahead, self-sabotage the relationship by saying, hey, I ain't attracted to this person, so, I'm gonna go ahead and move on, when later on you actually realize, like, dang, I could have really been happy with this person, but I let my insecurities of maybe them not looking the best or whatever the case may be get in the way of actually having a really fulfilling relationship. And that, to me, is more devastating, more impactful in the long-term scheme of your life than just learning how to push aside, focusing so much on the physical of stuff,
Right. Bottom line, don't even try to initiate a contact, a date, or somebody that you're physically not attracted to.
Yeah.
Don't even try to do that. Don't try to play that person.
If you're not up for that. Yeah. It's the option of, thinking about it,
Right. And then be honest too. If looks are not one of the top priorities when you're dating, then stick to that. Look at the other characteristics and personality traits.
You know what we did not address in this question that she mentioned was the fact that they said that they were not putting, we both agreed that sex, intimacy, and attraction is not the important thing in the grand scheme of marriage. Ma'am, sex and intimacy is the most important thing within the grand scheme of marriage. I don't know how I let that go by me, but that popped right in my head.
Yeah, she capping right there.
It is. It is, like, because in the grand scheme of marriage, your kids, they don't come before you and your marriage. All of that other stuff that y'all do, it does not come before the deep connection, the emotional connection, the physical, the intimacy, that love that you're going to have with your husband. That is the most important thing. That is what you're going to be focusing on for those 50 plus years together that you mentioned. It's not 50 plus years, you're not raising kids. 50 plus years, you're not, I don't know, building businesses or whatever the case may be. But 50 plus years, yeah, you focusing on having sex with your partner and having intimacy with your partner. That's every day of them 50 plus years. So,
and
yeah.
she said that, and then I can feel his, as a guy, what he's just trying to hold on to the sunken cost fallacy of this relationship, the investment, the time investment, the monetary investment, by him stating that, oh yeah, well, I agree, yeah, sex isn't important, it's your happiness, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, that's the breakdown of the communication.
That's him folding and not staying true to his boundaries.
Yeah.
In his relationship.
And what actually makes him happy.
Right, exactly.
Because she said he's not happy. Why is he not happy? Because y'all ain't doing what y'all supposed to be doing.
Right. He's not happy because he's not getting sex in the benefit of a relationship.
Right.
And she's not happy because he's not good looking. And she's getting everything else. I'm pretty sure she's getting, like I said, money and all this other stuff.
Well, yeah, she said that, yeah.
This is all wrong. All of this is wrong. The intention is not there. I mean, I don't think that this isn't something that can be repaired because she doesn't want it to. You can't fix his looks.
It can. I think it can because she doesn't
have any intention. She don't want to.
Well, writing in is a little bit of an intention of saying, it's a little glimmer of hope when you're reaching out for help.
No, this is her
that's
trying.
The optimism in me.
This is her trying not to take the blame of ending the relationship. This is her trying to ignore the fact that she is the reason for all of the issues in the relationship by saying, well, we both agreed on this, we both agreed on that, we both agreed. No, but that's not natural. That's not a natural relationship. So no, she don't have the intention on trying to fix this thing. And when she stated at the end that we're delaying the inevitable,
I think if anything, maybe she is weighing the idea that, hey, you could miss out on some really good opportunities of having a good relationship and even the personal growth that comes along with actually being in a relationship, because relationships in general is a whole institution for you to learn how to grow and be a better person in general, because you're constantly going to be mirrored kind of the things that you could improve on or grow in different aspects. So all of that is an opportunity that you don't want to miss out on if you're constantly focused on your spouse's physical appearance. You're really going to miss the whole grand scheme of what could be a great relationship. And I'm hoping that is why she's like, I'm afraid. Hopefully that is weighing on your conscience. That's why I believe, God gives us that little inner voice that you do have to listen to. If you're feeling like, hey, I think I may be kind of self-sabotaging because I'm afraid of something. Like she says, I'm afraid of this not working out because, I'm not physically attracted. But to be honest, I would really just think that this is the veils of the honeymoon phase dropping down and reality setting in and her having to just, woman up. And especially if you want to have this family that you really want, you want to grow and you want it to be a good, stable home. It's really not. It can't be 100% everything you want. And even too, I think one thing to keep in mind is having a type is not set in stone. It's not something that, is never going to change, because it can change over time, especially as you learn more about yourself. Applying this to this young lady saying, hey, I learned, I wanted a spouse that was kind and loving and all these other great things. When you find these things that you're actually really looking for in a spouse, that's an opportunity for your type to kind of shift to where you'll see, hey, my type isn't so much focused on the tall, dark, and handsome. My type, though, is focused on a man that's kind, a good provider, a good protector, stuff like that. I think that's the main, thing you really just kind of got to focus on, especially if you're dating someone who isn't your type.
There are some types. There's some benefits of dating someone who is not your type. So you may learn something new about yourself. I would not recommend dating someone who is not your type, to be honest with you, but just to shed some light. You can learn new things from them. When you date someone who is different from you, you are forced to step outside of your comfort zone and try new things. So this can help you to grow as a person and learn more about what you value in a spouse.
Yeah, and I agree. It is some benefits too, but if you are not willing or even up to it mentally to take on what it will entail to get past the physical appearance, then it wouldn't be something you should do.
No, not at all, because you're
Especially
going to end
not
up
men.
sabotaging the relationship anyway, because you don't want to be in it. It's going to be like chewing glass every morning.
Yeah.
Waking up, besides, if your type is a 5'4" woman weighing 130, and you're waking up to a 5-foot woman weighing 180, and that's not your type, then you're going to really regret and resent your relationship.
Yeah,
It just
certainly.
is. It's the
Yeah,
bottom line.
that's true. That is 100% true. And again, it's, that double standard, sometimes women do have to kind of try to look at the brighter side of the whole aspect too. If you do want to have that good relationship, maybe you can focus on the qualities that you do admire, just to kind of piggyback on what you were saying about, if there is someone that you not necessarily attracted to, you may find that deeper connection though if you're able to put that aside. If they're not so much 100% not your type, and something you can maybe work with, maybe even consider like talking about it, being open. I think communication is huge when it comes to that. In particular, if you can be honest, even the guys too,
be
from the
honest
very
early.
beginning.
Be very honest early when it comes to your types and what you're looking for, what you like, and about physical attractiveness.
Yeah, because it's not, that is really going to be the challenge of it all. But yeah, I do think you can be happy with someone who may not initially be your type if you're able to really just appreciate and admire other qualities about them. Admiration, we kind of talked about that a couple weeks ago. I think if you're able to build admiration outside of the physical appearance, that could in a way increase your attraction towards your spouse, and even just overall how you bond and connect with them, because you've really come to appreciate a deeper side than them. But yeah, I guess we dig into some little tips that may help this woman along the way, hopefully being able to shift your mindset. I think in particular this may require a big mindset. This will require a big mindset shift in a lot of aspects. You have to understand the negative biases, and how if you, especially within a relationship, get stagnant or end up bored, not able to focus on the positive goals within your relationship, what you're actually working on, you can end up really focusing on the negative things. And that's going to cause you to point out those critiques that you may have of your spouse, or any little thing that they do that annoy you. You'll focus on that more, and just naturally it will, clutter your mind with a less positive viewpoint of your spouse. But if you can actually do some of these things that we're going to kind of dig into a little bit, you can really learn to see them in a new light and actually be able to possibly work past that initial attraction in the long run.
So first, if you have to communicate, so if you are just dating, be honest with them about your feelings early. So that's what I've been saying all along. So let them know that you are not sure if they are your type, but that you are interested in getting to know them better. This will help you to keep the lines of communication open and prevent any misunderstandings. So the thing about this is that usually people like this, if they have options, then they go with the option that is their type. So
and that woman in particular, I think it was the reason why you've gotten here is because she waited 3 years. That's too long.
Nobody wanted her.
Yeah, but I'm saying for 3 years. You're saying for 3 years she was just with this guy.
Women do that because they're receiving some benefit. And the weird thing is that this economy, you'll see this happen more often, that women will try to get with guys who seem to have it going on, not really knowing that they don't really physically are attracted to them.
Yeah.
And same thing may go for a guy who doesn't have money. If he finds that he's dating a modern woman who has a lot of money, or whatever the case may be, then he's going to be trying to get all that money out of her and trying to be there for her, and may try to get that, like I said, use her as a sugar mama or whatever the case may be. So you have to be wary and be careful about all these people, especially if you know darn well that you're not attractive yourself, and then all of a sudden this attractive person comes along and falls into your lap. So don't there's a lot of scammers out there. I'm just being honest, you all, because mostly these relationships happen with someone of your caliber, someone of your same type of look, someone who of your same status. So you really date your equal or on down. It's very rare that someone date their equal on up in this world. So unless you are very rich or what have you. And then also too, if you decide to marry somebody who just falls into your lap, then cover it with a prenup and then see if they stick around for that.
Excuse me.
Because more than likely they're going to try to get up out of there and be like, well, I'm not signing anything, and then they're gone. So that's how you weed those bad people out, like this woman here. Hopefully this man finds out, and to make her sign a prenuptial agreement. Well, not make her, they both agree to it, because more than likely she's not, because she's not going to be happy with his physical appearance.
Hopefully she is, because Lord have mercy, child. Don't.
Well, she's already.
I gotta stop trying to save him.
Yeah, because the thing is this: people know what they like what they like, and her for doing this for so long, for 3 years, she knows that she can't marry this man. She knows it. She's already saying they're not having children, and she's trying to claim that he said that he's okay with not having sex in a relationship, in a marriage, a sexless marriage. So that means somebody going to be sleeping with somebody else,
right?
That makes no sense. She got with him for I don't want to rant, but she got with him for all the wrong reasons. And this is common. This is very common in today's day and age. And I'm glad I'm not dating. Yeah. I'm not in the dating world, because you have to really go through people like this. And I'm telling you all, before you all make that commitment to marry somebody, use prenuptial agreements need to become a normal thing in this Western culture.
Yeah.
Because of people like this. You don't know exactly who you're marrying until you all actually live together for multiple years. I would say about 2 good years, and then try to get married. And usually after that marriage, things do fall apart. And that person, the wife leaves and takes half your stuff, or vice versa. And now these times men are, winning these divorce litigations in court, and they're getting money because they don't make as much as the woman do. So cover yourselves with prenuptial agreements. An agreement is something that both of you all sign. So make sure that you all sit down, have your lawyer, they have their own lawyer too, go through the agreement, and then boom, have your marriage. Use it as a way to keep you all together. And then also to use it for a way to weed out people with ill intentions, because that is a great way to get rid of them as well. If they don't want to sign in this relationship, this prenuptial agreement stating that if you say irreconcilable differences and with no justification or whatever the case may be, then all benefits are null and void. Then that's it. You get nothing.
Yeah.
Because what's happening is that a lot of women are getting away with guys' monies because they had ill intentions on marrying them in the first place, such as this woman.
Yeah, prenup holds you accountable.
Yeah, accountability. Hold them up to that level of accountability, because who else is? Because you can't. The only way you can is the law can, by signing a contract.
Yeah.
So use contract law to your both of you all's advantage if you really want to stay together.
Yeah. And kind of just to head back onto the communication aspect, anybody that's actually in a relationship, if you do find yourself maybe focusing more on the physical flaws that your spouse may have, you still got to have that difficult conversation with them. It's important, especially in this situation, because it's damaging your intimacy. And that's going to further damage your relationship, and ultimately you're both going to be really unhappy. So, just talk to your spouse, let them know, I am attracted to you based off of these things that I really love about you, whatever the case may be, but you're struggling with deepening your attraction with your spouse. Figure out what you all could do for that, if this is something that you're really wanting to work towards. If she is really committed in that sense, like wanting to make it work. We don't know. I'm just hopefully playing the angel advocate here. Hopefully you're wanting to shift your mindset a bit. You got to start figuring out ways to deepen your attraction that's going to help you along the way. I mean, things that's not just going to require him doing it, because on your part, just because you're struggling with this attraction, you are going to have to do something to get yourself to stop struggling. So what are some things that you all can do that's going to help you deepen that attraction? You certainly, the most obvious, of course, is to spend more time together, to really actually take that time out for each other. I know she says they just, I don't know what they're doing, watching TV, I don't know, whatever it is. Y'all got to do more than what you're doing. You can't allow your relationship just to get stagnant. It's not going to deepen its intimacy on its own. You're not going to just up and all of a sudden get in the mood for sex just because, it's not how things work. You really have to, flirt with each other. Flirting is a great way to keep that spark alive within your relationship. Certainly compliment each other, talk about the things that you like about each other, build your intimacy that way, in the sense of your attractiveness, physically, non-physically. That's just my way of trying to shift her, I guess, thinking a bit of not trying to focus so much on those negative aspects as a way to kind of put you guys apart, but make an effort to actually deepen your connection with each other and feel good about each other, even if they might not be, I guess, 100% who you physically, because I don't know, it's just, to me it's baffling, because I can't see being with someone for 3 years, and how do you not, I don't know,
because you're not a gold digger. That's the thing. You're not a gold digger. As this economy gets worse and worse, and things are very hard to scrape money together, it's easier for people to take advantage of other people. That's why you're not out here trying to take advantage of somebody. That is how people do this for 3 years. They're trying to take advantage of someone's resources, stay in that relationship, and then now she's trying to figure out a way to get out and say, well, I never was really attracted to him in the first place. So what she's really looking for is a way out of that relationship. Counseling, she needs counseling.
Certainly take that counseling.
And after this relationship, he's definitely going to need counseling in order to get his confidence up, and to make sure that this type of stuff doesn't happen to him again. And I feel sorry for the guy, because he let this woman do this to him for 3 years in this situation, and he's going to be damaged because of this moving forward. He's always going to think that he doesn't look good enough in order to be with somebody, and that's the sad thing about it.
But I have seen, like, I don't know, man, I don't know. I've seen people be with someone who you may not have initially thought, but
those are good people, though.
Yeah, right.
And
okay.
This woman isn't a good person, and as far as her character and her judgment, she's not,
because she's questioning leaving a relationship
after 3 years. She put up with this guy for 3 years with the way that he looks. And the thing is this: she should have ended this after 3 months.
Right.
She found out that there's some benefit of holding on to this guy, and then she's fed up because she's starting to feel bad because she's not sleeping with him. Guilt is setting in. She's guilt tripping. So that's what's really going on with this woman. And
I guess that would happen to anybody. Say if you're in a relationship, and I see why you're saying what you're saying, because if you're in a relationship with someone that you're not attracted to, and you don't have the right intentions, then you're going to be riddled with guilt, and
it's going to eat you up.
Yeah.
And then she knows she's not doing what she's supposed to be doing in order to be a wife to this guy. She's just trying to persuade him that her thought point and viewpoints are correct, when she said, well, we both agreed that sex and intimacy is not an important part of marriage, which is BS. That's total BS.
That was the wrong conversation to have. I think it should have been, how can we talk about our sex life that's going to make things better?
She don't want to have sex with him.
Yeah,
that's the truth of the matter. The next conversation is we need to stop this. I can't do this anymore. We need to develop an exit strategy, because she doesn't want to go to counseling. Counseling is not going to fix this, to be honest with you.
You don't think?
No, because Counseling is not going to fix this because there was no intention first on being married in the beginning. That's the issue with her whole relationship.
She intended to be married, just not with him.
Not with him.
Because she's saying in her mind she didn't see him, or she said, I didn't see him,
She wasn't attracted to him.
Yeah.
She really wasn't attracted to him from day one. But she found out that this guy has some sort of benefit. She has to have. And then I said that the reason being is that she can't, and then she's stuck with him and she don't have any options, because she would have been left this guy, because she would have more than likely, the person who came across had to have been more attractive. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. She don't have options.
And that would have made the decision.
Right. Yeah. This was her option. If she was wise enough, she would stay in this relationship. This guy's a provider and protector for you.
Yes.
What more is it that you want to do if you want to be a wife? That's the thing. She thinks that she thinks that she can go out here and get it and find exactly what she's looking for. Be my guest. Good luck, because more than likely you don't. Yeah. You don't. You may run across a guy who is good looking, but he could be the wrong person, the absolute wrong person.
Right.
And like I said, if she couldn't find this person while dating this guy for 3 years, what makes her think it is going to happen? She's getting older.
Right.
Her value is decreasing as time goes on. And who's looking for her? Nobody was looking for her for 3 years.
That's where I think being willing to compromise is going to have to come in.
Exactly.
If you really, I genuinely am hoping that this could be something that could be salvaged. Of course, I 100% agree. At this point, it is important for the man to protect himself. If, he's finding that, she's
a flight risk.
Showing, yeah, exactly. That's a good word.
She's a flight risk. This woman is trying to take off any situation that she could get.
Yeah.
If she got married the first day, the next day, day 2 of wedding, well, she'll probably come with the divorce papers and say, hey, this ain't happening. I'll take 2/3. Thank you. See you later.
Right. And that's not funny. So that is where I 100% agree. Like, being able to make sure that if, you are wanting to work this out, but there's some hard conversations that have to be had. In particular, the whole thing about your sex life, you got to talk about that. That is a key conversation, especially when you're talking about attraction and even trying to, build attraction with each other. Do things like, dress up for each other. I know this woman says like, oh, y'all just sitting around watching TV. Don't just do that in some sweats and t-shirts. Do things that are going to build your attraction for each other. Make an effort to look good for your spouse, and maybe that could be something that you offer to him as well, especially if you like to see him dressing up in a suit or wearing a certain cologne. Help him along the way of doing some things that you actually are attracted about. If maybe a certain haircut, you like when he gets his haircut a certain way, encourage him, compliment him while he's, getting his haircut, to say, hey, I really like you looking like this. You look good like this. Keep this up. I really like that. I don't know. This is ways of building that intimacy alongside if you may be struggling with the initial attraction to your spouse, especially if you find out that this person is 100% great in all the other qualities. Please don't be shallow and miss out on a great opportunity for something like that. That's unfortunate to me. I think touching each other, making an effort for physical touch is a powerful, powerful way to communicate with each other. Even it doesn't have to be in a sexual way. Just even when you're watching TV, even when you're just doing simple things around the house, taking the time to touch and physically connect with your spouse is certainly a way to build that attraction that doesn't require, sexual intimacy right away, but it will help to, increase some juices in case you might want to do something later on. Sex is very important. So please, please, please don't make that statement of, thinking within your mind that it's not. It is very, very important. Y'all don't have any kids, go on dates. Y'all got to date each other. This whole relationship seems very stagnant. 3 years worth each other. And it makes me wonder if maybe her lack of attraction is contributing to the stagnicity, in the sense of not, usually when a woman is really attracted to a man, they'll make the effort to, oh, let's move in together. Oh, let's, when are we going to do this? Around what years being together are we going to start having kids? You start setting those goals because you're really excited about building a relationship with them. So in particular, making sure to do those things that are going to connect you all and further progress the relationship so that it's not stagnant. And it gives your mind something else to think about. I think an idle mind is probably, an idle mind is the devil's playground. You got too much time on your hand. Y'all are bored. You got too much time on your hand to where you could just sit there and nitpick at a good man when he, hasn't done anything to you. It's not fair. It's not, it's certainly self-sabotaging a good relationship. And it's not helping you be happy as well either. So do those things. I mean, ultimately, like you said, whether or not you could be happy with someone who is not your type is really going to be based off of your own personal decision. It's going to take time. It's going to take effort. And it's certainly going to take that intention, that commitment to actually want to do that. So be mindful of all of that, really. And yeah, don't ruin something good, though. That'd be unfortunate. That's all I could think about. It's just like, Lord, girl, don't that.
No, I mean,
it's unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
I'm also concerned for the guy.
No, I get that too. Yeah.
The trust is out the window, to be honest with you.
I get that too.
She's been very honest with him, I think, and I believe.
I disagree. She has not been honest with him at all.
Well, if she's telling him that, I'm not attracted to you and I don't want to have sex with you, that's
no,
very
she
honest.
didn't tell him I wasn't attracted to you. She just said that they agreed that sex isn't an important thing. I think that is what the huge issue is here, is the fact that I'm positive, because the fact of her not just being honest at all to the whole thing, instead of y'all having a conversation of, oh, we're kind of getting bored together, or, we're seeing some sort of loss of attraction, for whatever reason, you don't quite know why your love life is boring. That should have been the key moment of you actually sitting down and having this conversation. Y'all should have had this conversation in the very beginning. You should have told him, hey, you're not usually my type that I date, but, I'm willing to get to know you and stuff. That would have also kind of freed up, I think, some of that guilt within yourself, because you could have said to him, like, he would have been aware of that. And then maybe like, I don't know, but maybe he would have been, because he would have been more knowing what she was feeling. And he could have also been kind of more mindful of how she possibly would be moving, just if he's noticing, like, maybe she ain't really attracted.
No, they discussed it. She says him and I discussed relationship. Some of this, and we both agreed that sex, intimacy, and attraction is not the most important things.
So they discussed some of it, some of this,
raising children, and presumably spending 50 years together.
Right.
So they did discuss that, but
some of it
that needs to
she won't honest.
That needs to be the light. For him that goes off and say, you know what, I need to get out of this relationship.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, when someone approaches you and tells you that you both that they don't want to have sex with you and don't want to be intimate with you, and they're not attracted to you, but everything else is working, it's not working. It's not working. Don't compromise your barriers, your your realistic expectations in your relationship for someone's good looks or the lack thereof, or whatever the case may be, or other benefits in the relationship. That's the wrong way to have. That is not even a relationship at all, to be honest with you.
Especially if you're constantly finding fault within their appearance and you start putting them down, or maybe if it's even just causing you distress or whatever, like that's not a healthy relationship. And please don't continue stuff like that. Weigh your pros and cons and really do this. The earlier the better. Don't wait 3 years. Do this early. The earlier y'all can really get into the nitty-gritty of stuff, stop hiding stuff, stop putting stuff off, the better. You have more time to actually be planning your life and working together and actually creating that fulfilling life.
Right.
Yeah. That's all I got. What about you?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. So anybody?
Any questions?
Comments? Questions?
Let me check on in. Hey, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, Full House. Thank you all for joining in. This is an interesting topic. I hope you all enjoyed as we, rambled on a bit for this. But I think, It's common. We hear this a lot. That's the main reason why I wanted to talk about it, like, because we hadn't talked about it,
Right. I mean, it's just people out there
Yeah.
trying to take advantage, and then also too, they're not trying to take accountability
Yeah.
of taking advantage of people, and then they don't want to blame themselves for this situation, but hold them accountable for that.
Hold yourself accountable for that. Don't put yourself in no
Well,
situation.
this woman ain't going to hold herself accountable.
Yeah.
Her
That's
past,
true.
her past and karma is going to hold her accountable. Trust me.
Yeah.
Having to explain herself. I dated a guy for 3 years, but I didn't like him. He was ugly. Like, your judgment is horribly wrong. So that's on her. So with that being said, Blueprint family, thank you all for joining us tonight. And we'll see you all same time, same place tomorrow. Peace.
Bye. What's up?